Shut for sound, or I can shut the hall door.
It doesn't matter.
No, the hall door.
I don't think the sound is that.
Okay.
It's gonna. All right, so I was thinking that we were just maybe, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, but I was thinking about like when you all would gather, like if you went to, did you all go to Rab and
Yes,
Cherie's house as a big group?
That was where we always were.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we were ever all together any place but in Edmond, or Tin Color later, but...
Right, but some of us, you remember that time, your family and mine was at Carl B. King warehouse.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
this
that's
was a
true.
little crowded.
That's true. we did gather there, but it was always around Sherry and Rab.
Right.
It really, we lived so far away from everybody else that when we came to their place, then it kind of was an opportunity for other people to come.
Yeah, it was about as far from El Paso to Odessa as it was from our house to in Oklahoma
exactly,
there.
Exactly,
But,
a long way. So.
That little bitty apartment they lived in, and there we were all staying. Too cheap to go to a hotel.
Well, there probably wasn't one within 20 miles.
Well, no, we had to go into
Kind of
town.
out in the country.
Had to go into town, right?
Yeah.
So this is when they lived in, they had moved to Odessa?
Odessa, yeah, yes. Stayed down there for several years. And they lived in an apartment above the warehouse, where all the tools and the trucks and the gear of the drilling
big
companies.
vats of corrosive acid that they used to clean the drilling bits. And Rab would take us out into that area. He was always so careful. Don't fall in there.
Right.
Yeah.
That was an interesting place. Though I always liked to go there. Because
Yeah, I did
it
too.
was exciting to me to be around those. There were some really rough talking tool pushers worked in that. The mechanics being there working on a big rig motor or something, you know. I learned some new words down there.
One of the things we did too, you had to make your own entertainment. There wasn't anything to do really. We worked jigsaw puzzles a lot. And Uncle Al was the best jigsaw puzzle worker I ever saw. He was in awe. He would sit there with this 500-piece puzzle. He'd do 450 of the pieces while we worked on the other.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he was very good at that.
Well, one of my dreams, childhood dreams, came true down there. You remember the legend of Rab's pistol. It was always in the cedar chest at the foot of the bed.
Yes.
That he left there when he'd begun Sherry's self-defense, I guess. And supposedly you remember the hole in the bedroom window screen that had Kleenex tucked into it? Supposedly she shot through that window one night when she thought there was a crowd out there.
And that's how
That was the story of the hole. But we were out there and I was finally old enough and Rab let me and Kent, we drove into town, and in Texas, I as a kid could buy 38 bullets for this revolver, which was strange thinking about it. But we went out there and where all the drill stems were stacked and all that, out on the yard. It was a big yard, like 10 or 20 acres.
Yeah, it was a big place.
We were out there, bang, shooting that thing out there. It was that far out of town, it's several miles out of Odessa, toward Midland, on the highway. But we got to shoot the gun, Rab's gun.
I never shot the gun.
What did your parents like to do when you all got together? The sisters and the brother? Did they tell stories?
There was lots of
puzzle.
Lots of talking.
Lots of talk, but
never a minute they didn't have 10 things to say.
Yeah. And also there were always some kind of games going on. I'm not much for board games anymore, whereas your family is, but I think I wore out on them as a kid.
Had a lifetime supply.
Had a lifetime supply. We did lots of that kind of
games.
stuff. Because there'd always be a bunch of kids, you have to keep everyone doing something. But it was fun. It was always rewarding, and as I said today, how excited I'd get anyway that someone was, some family member was coming. Usually it was Al and Anita because you all rarely came.
Yeah.
Because it was too far away. But it was, Al's coming. It'll be fun. He always had good stories. And, just fun to see him. Fun. And like I said at the service a while ago, the time they turned the parakeet loose in our house, that was fun. I'd never had a parakeet loose in the house. They just, Onita just talked to that parakeet. Oh, he'd come, get on her finger,
So I'd never really thought about when you said that about the rough guys. You know, your grandfather, your father, all these men that were going out into these oil fields and stuff, and like did they talk about their experiences when they're out there, or was that just kind of like another life to them?
Rab did not.
No, and Dad didn't
Did he
much
not?
either. When he came home, he'd been gone weeks at a time usually, and he just wanted to be home, sit in his chair, but he didn't really talk much about it. There were sometimes highlights of something especially different, but.
Well, as you know, Rab worked in the oil field from when he was like 17 or something like that, so he knew all the bad words too.
Yeah.
I never heard him say a vulgar word. Never. We'd go downstairs in the warehouse, and those guys working down there, they kept a stream going all the time. There was blue air in the warehouse, but and it probably bothered him some that his grandchildren were around,
But he was always able to turn it off.
he turned it off. He never brought it home. Never brought it home. More likely to hear some off-color phrase out of Cherie than Rab.
Really?
With her unfiltered Camel cigarettes.
One time, she said, one I remember, she said something, I've forgotten what we were talking about, some wall paint or something was as green as goose doodle doodle doodle. She threw in that little euphemism there to finish it.
She was tough. But
Was she?
Yeah,
She was from the oil fields too.
Yeah.
They ran off together as
I
kids.
think she was tough in that she was able to do what she had to do under the circumstances that she had. She was a tough old southern bird.
Absolutely.
How'd they interact? How did Rab and Cherie interact with each other? Like,
well, Daddy, she'd say, well, Daddy, what do you think? She was always deferring to him, although I doubt if she really did. But on the surface, it was all deferring to Daddy.
Yeah.
Well, Daddy, what do you think about that? And he was so quiet.
Yeah, he was very quiet.
He rarely said anything, if any
He
consequence
probably
really.
answered whatever you want, dear.
Yeah, right. Well, you decide.
Yeah.
You decide. But that little bitty house they lived in, 311 North Roberts, the famous address that Kent was talking about, it seemed so big to me at the time when I was.
It always seemed little to me. I always never could figure out how 2 adults and 4 children could fit into that space.
After I grew up, I thought, this is ridiculous. How did they do this?
Because that's the way they did. Everybody lived. It wasn't any different. But
as I recall, Mother telling me that for the longest time, Al slept in the bedroom with Cherie and Rab, and the girls were in the other room.
Well, and Mother said that, of course, Lita was several years older than Mother and Al, and she said Lita slept on the daybed in the living room a lot too. So
get away from the little girls.
Yeah, it was pesky sisters. Right. But we lived there a year. My family lived there a year. I went to first grade in Edmond.
I remember that, and I was mentioned that to Noel about coming over there and spending a weekend, and he didn't even remember.
Yeah.
But he was just a little kid.
I was first grade. He was like 3.
Yeah.
So, Sherry and Rab were someplace, and Dad was going to OU to school, and we lived there.
Was that when you moved from Phoenix to there?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Right after the war.
Right after the war. Yeah, we moved back, and then the following year, I don't know if the house wasn't available or what the deal was, but we moved to Norman and lived there a year. But we actually lived at 311, not just visit.
Right. I think we lived at Kiefer at that time, and I must have been a second grader, probably second or third. I rode over there. We had a young woman, single teacher at Kiefer who went home to Oklahoma City on the weekends, just boarded with some local family in Kiefer during the week. And I rode with her, and she dropped me off at your house.
Oh, really?
And then picked me up and back home Sunday.
Yeah.
So that was, I remember visiting.
so you were the oldest, and then you were next. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why it was announced last night that the torch had passed
That's right.
to the new generation.
And so, what are your new responsibilities?
We are
Waving.
We'll work out an agenda. We'll let y'all know.
That's what this kid asked me. We were busy. I said we're busy thinking of edicts to pass down.
Right. We'll work on it. We'll let everyone know what's expected.
Yes.
I thought it's just
And we
general
expect-
reverence and honor.
Well, we do expect.
Sir and ma'am will do. I
We
think.
do expect the proper respect that we're
We
due,
do.
and we probably will get about that much.
So now I know that you got special treatment from Cherie as the first boy, and did you get? Do you think you first couple got a different
She
relationship
did
with
too.
the grandparents?
Oh, she did too. Yeah.
I think everybody got special treatment from Cherie. She had that ability, that's so endearing. Whoever she was with was the only place she wanted to be. You're the only person that I want to be with. It just, I think it made everybody feel.
Of course, but we did get her first.
Yes, we got.
And
By
before our younger ones came along, we would be the only child there
Yeah.
for a couple of years. So yeah, that when Lita was single and before she married Carl, she'd come home for the summer and stay with Cherie there while Rab was off working somewhere. And a couple of summers I got to spend some time, a week or I don't remember how long, a week or two, over there with those two women. Oh, they spoiled me so bad. It's terrible. I can still hear Cherie say, "Why, he's such a handsome little boy. He's so smart." I believed every.
I believed I took it right in. Of course.
You're still recovering.
No, I need her still. You never get over your need for reinforcement.
Reinsurance, too.
Reinforcement.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to think about. That's the beauty of getting the family together. Once in a while we'll think about these little things. Even when we're not talking about it. This is great.
And of course, what I remember most about 311 is the big maple tree in the back. And just the lawn chairs out under it. All those hot summer afternoons, everybody sat outside and the kids climbed the tree and did whatever else kids do. But
It's good.
Well, that reminds me. The tree reminds me. One summer I was there with her alone for a few days, and I decided I'd build a ladder on the tree so I could get up there. I was pounding the first nail into a board to just nail it right into the tree. Oh, did she get all over me? Don't you put nails in my tree? She got me bad.
yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I didn't know how to build a ladder anyway.
Well, that was just almost a retreat-like place to be. You went and it was refreshing. People and place and relaxation. And you came away thinking you'd really been to someplace really special.
And had.
Actually, yeah,
In reality.
it wasn't just imagination, it was that way.
It was special.
Yeah.
It's that's reflected in the fact that all of us of our generation stayed so attached to Grandmother Cherie so long till her death. It's just there.
I remember when Lita and Carl got married. They got married there at 311, I think.
Right.
I think it might have been the summer that after we lived there for the school year.
That would be about right.
And I think so.
That would be about
Probably the first wedding I
right. I remember
was
coming to that
at.
wedding.
So,
Was Lita a glamorous bride? Did she? She was such a fashion queen, wasn't she?
Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't remember
I
that.
really don't remember.
that.
What I remember is Rab signaling me to come with him, and we went out and tied a bunch of crap on the back of Carl's car, cans full of rocks. he had some tin cans full of pebbles. Had a big long string of stuff on the back of it. And he drove out and started down North Roberts waving, and then he stopped right out there and got out and cut it off. Which, that seems, thinking about that seems strange from Grandma. He was so reserved and all, but that's, obviously he had a little fun streak in there
A
somewhere.
little mischief there.
And I was just old enough to get to go out.
Yeah.
It was fun. Good memories. Good memories. And another one. Do you remember when I came to Austin as a little kid and stayed a few days?
Yes. It was a holiday. I don't know if it was Christmas or not. But
Lita and a friend, I think a teacher friend of hers, went on a trip to Mexico, driving trip. And I rode from Edmond
to Austin.
to Austin and stayed with you till they came back through and got
I
me.
do remember that.
I remember almost nothing about it, but I have a snapshot or two that triggers the memory. The biggest thing I remember about that is getting in the car there, 311, and sitting there with my feet sticking out on the back seat all day. I was just a little kid. I can't remember, 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah.
Because you were big enough, you weren't a baby, so I had to do that. But now that we're the matriarch and patriarch, we have to get on. This has been fun, but we have duties.
Yes, you do. You do. You need to go be regal.
Begin our reign.
Be regal.
Be with the young ones.
Well, that's why we interviewed you first, because of that reason.
We need to.
Well, that's only appropriate.
Right.
We have to go set
Cool.
some standards.